49. The last president inaugurated in the United States. The span of terrible days after the global comms blackout when the world was reshaped. The number of strange supernatural phenomena that appear around the globe. You're listening to The 49, the new series by Andrew Kooman. Get the content right in your inbox when you subscribe at the49.substack.com. Make sure you subscribe so you don't miss an episode. Welcome to the world of The 49.
I will take you there. He heard the words, but they didn't register. As Diez sat on the couch, 1,000 images strung together in his mind. They played out like a long line of det cord, suddenly ignited. The mountains, Notre Dame, militia groups marching, 100 frightened faces, Duplo, the works of great artists, the USB, small parishes on fire, gas masks, the bishop, the governor, and himself, standing in a small chapel. The Phos is within the walls. Michael. The governor's use of his given name snapped Diez back to reality. He looked at the man. They both gave off a stoic vibe, calm, mirrors of each other. Diez could see something like fear in the governor's eyes. Did it come from within, or was it his reflection? Where? Diez asked. His mind grappled to make sense of it. South of the 49th, not too far from headquarters. At Point Roberts? Nearby. Diez stood up. More coffee? He asked, but left the room, not waiting for the governor's reply. He brought back the pot and topped up both their cups. He left the room again to return the carafe to the base. The rumors were true. The governor followed him into the kitchen, both cups of coffee in hand. He placed Diez's onto the countertop. The chat bros have been shut down. The governor finished his sentence before he could spit the words out. Diez picked up his coffee. They were right. Diez couldn't hide the dumbfounded expression. He shouldn't be, but he was shocked. My advisory board is, well, it's freaking out, to put it mildly. They made no calculation for this scenario. The humbling, as your people call it, is still fresh on their minds. Your people. And with the surge attack that happened in the last 24 hours, they're beside themselves. The governor opened a cupboard, then shut it. He opened another one and shut it too. What are you looking for? Diez asked. Got any cereal? I'm starving. Diez walked along the long granite island toward the fridge and opened a cupboard beside it. He placed a golden and brown box of cereal, then a carton of milk on the countertop. The bowls are behind you. Cutlery is in the drawer there. A few big brands survived and thrived in the tumultuous span of time since the blackout. No matter what happened politically, people still needed breakfast, and not even nuclear threats could shake the Western appetite for carbohydrates in the morning. Check the milk, Diez instructed. I've been away for the last few days. The governor sniffed the carton and took a gamble. He poured out a bowl and then added the milk. Diez watched him as he ate, tried to make sense of the news made even more alarming by the domestic scene he was witnessing, as the most powerful man on earth stood in his kitchen eating a bowl of Cheerios. Duplo heard the food in the box and appeared at the governor's feet. The governor grabbed another bowl from the cupboard behind him. He filled it up and looked at Diez. Diez nodded consent, and the governor gave the dog the bowl. I'll send you a replacement box. Don't worry about it. Who else knows? Everyone will, soon. How much territory is it taking up? Diez asked. That's the thing, the governor said. It's jumping the channel between Victoria and San Juan Island. It's not really static, so it's off the beaten track. The island has never been on our radar. So many people self-potted or pilled when the blackout came. We've never given it much attention. The westernmost province in the former territory, once known as British Columbia, saw its population dive when things got scary in the early days of the governor's rise to power, especially after the blackout. No militias rose to resist. The majority of the population simply tapped out through the lethal drugs or MAID pods that had become so popular to island life, where retirees and the great-grandchildren of hippies had a history of putting an end to life on their own terms. A lot of our food production is there. Lots of fishing, big quotas, what the locals can't get the drones easily grab. But the advisory board isn't worried about the fishing. It's too close, Diez mused. What do you think I can do about it? The governor asked. There was no challenge in the question. He was perplexed. I'd like your perspective. You won't like it. Perhaps, the governor conceded. You know you won't be able to control it. If it really is a Phos. I know that. But they're going to try, aren't they? I want to try to stop them. Redirect them, maybe. He took another bite of cereal. Milk spilled from the spoon onto his shirt. He wiped it into the dark fabric. He stopped when his feeble attempt made the mess more noticeable. Even though it's in an obscure location with such little population, because it's behind the walls, they're going to try. Stop them. The governor put down the bowl. The metal spoon clinked against the ceramic bowl as the base touched the granite countertop. I can't. You're the governor. That I am. And so I've agreed to send a team. You're going to recon the Phos? You are. With me. I'd like you to bring 1 or 2 elders with you. Diez thought about this. The elders would be excited, unafraid. The online forums are going to go wild. Because it's behind the wall? Because it brings us back officially to 49. You've never spoken of it, the governor said, as he turned the spoon in the discolored milk that remained at the bottom of the bowl. Not once. I watch your replays. You have the opportunity. Diez took the milk carton and placed it back in the fridge. It's not my story to tell. Was it the same lifetime? Hard to tell, Diez said. Perhaps this was a confession. He must tread lightly. Do you think of it often? The governor smiled. He put down the spoon, arranged it so its length was centered to the diameter of the bowl. Often enough. I was just a journalist. An angry one. That's fair. Hunting down a story. My mother. The governor stopped short. His hand trembled on the spoon. He watched it for a moment, then reflexively pulled it to his side. Composed, he wiped at the milk stain on his shirt again. Her dying wish. Little did we know what would come next, Diez said, his voice barely a whisper. Your bishop, he blessed me that day. Is that what you call it? Yes. God has called you to reach for the stars, he said. Don't let go of his hand. The words, his heart, were caught in his throat. Diez had been there to hear the entire benediction. He waited. There was more, if I remember correctly, Diez said, gently. Why don't you say it then? It was not my benediction to utter. The governor bowed his head and held up his hands, movement that made Duplo jump playfully at his feet. The governor dropped and exuberantly pet him round the neck and shoulders. This is what I need, see? That honesty, that clear-eyed judgment. He stayed in a squat, petting the doodle until the animal was in a near trance-like state. The gentle tact. Suddenly, the governor was on his feet again. Duplo rolled to his feet and nuzzled the governor's hand, but he placed both hands behind his back. I will send for you tomorrow at 0900. Call the elders, bring 1 or 2 who had the bishop's trust. And just as soon, he was gone. Out the door he came through, into the early dawn. An empty cereal bowl, the only sign he had come at all.
Thanks for listening to this portion of The 49 by Andrew Kooman. New content drops for paid subscribers every Monday at the49.substack.com. That's the49.substack.com. On Tuesdays, we release new audio on all your favorite podcast platforms. If you like what you're hearing, make sure you subscribe and to share it with a friend. Thanks for listening to The 49.